Okay, hey everyone, I just wanted to make this little video on one of the common questions I get asked, and that is it's how to figure out your start calories. And I'm going to take you through this real simple process that I use with my clients to figure out how many calories they should be eating on a day-to-day basis. Now, what we want to be aiming to do is to find out the amount of calories you're eating and then create the calorie deficit. This is going to enable us to lose weight. We're going to use an example of a 13-stone woman who is exercising roughly 1 to 3 times a week in the gym. And what I want you to do first is I want you to weigh yourself first thing in the morning in kilograms. Okay, so after you've done your business, you've been to the toilet and whatnot, weigh yourself, and that's your start weight in kilos. Okay, so now that you've got your weight in kilos, what we want to do is we want to use the method by a person called Joseph Agu, who has created a real good way of figuring out how many calories you need to take in. So what you want to do is you want to take your body weight. So the example we're using is a female. So the weight in kilos, which is our 13-stone woman, that is 82.5 kilos in converted from stone. We want to times that by 22. 22 if you're a female, 24.2 if you are a male. Now, but like I said, for our example, we have a 13-stone woman, so we're going to times our weight in kilos by 22, which is going to give us 1,815 calories. Okay, so now we've got our baseline calories. So what we need to do now is we need to match that up and make those calories reflect our activity level. Now, our 13-stone example woman is training 1 to 3 times a week. Therefore, her activity level is roughly 1.375. So what we do is we take these calories. So we've got the 1,815. Sorry, I have to look at my sheet. Take 1,815 calories, and you want to times that by 1.375. Now this is going to give you your maintenance calories, okay? Now just remember, this is for someone who trains between 1 to 3 times a week, who's in the gym between 30 to 45 minutes at a time. If you are in the gym less than this, you may want to consider times in your calories by a lower number, so maybe at the lower end of the scale, so 1.2. And if you consider yourself to do more than 3 times a week in the gym, I want you to times your baseline calories by 1.55. Now, if you consider your job or your daily lifestyle to be quite laborious and hard working, I want you to look at higher numbers such as 1.7 and 1.9. This is only if you have a laborious job and you are training probably up to 4 to 5 times a week. Okay, so now we've got our calories that are married up with our activity level. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to create our calorie deficit. In other words, we're going to lose some weight. So what I want you to do now is we're going to take 10% off those overall calories for the first week, okay? And this should be enough for you to start seeing the scale weight go down, you to see some difference in your body shape, and for people to see some change in your body also. You're not going to be whilst you're still doing this, you're still going to be eating quite a good amount of food. It's not one of these low-fat fad diets where you're drinking milkshakes and eating next to nothing. Okay, so now we've got our overall calories and we've made the deficit for you to be able to lose weight. So now what we need to do is we need to decide how many calories are coming from each macronutrient group, so protein, fats, and carbohydrates. The main one first, we're going to start with protein. Okay, so what I want you to do now, I want you to take, so for our example, you're going to take your body weight in kilos and you're going to times that by 2. Now in our instance here, we are going to times our 13-stone woman in her weight in kilos, and we're going to times that by 2, and that's going to give us 165 grams of protein, which is her daily target. Now what I found is, what the research shows, is that protein should be between about 1.7 to 2.7 times your body weight in kilos. However, quite a lot of the women that I work with, they struggle to get twice the amount in times kilos in protein per day. So what I'm going to suggest you to do is to times your body weight in kilos by 2, and that is your daily protein target. Okay, so now we've figured out how much protein we need to be taking on a daily basis, we now want to move on to fat. Now, what you want to do now is you want to take your body weight in kilos and you're going to again multiply it by either between 0.8 and 1.1. Now, it really does depend on your tolerance and what you like to eat. Now, this is coming from me now, this is an example. I like to eat a lot of fatty foods such as peanut butter, so I err on the side of going for the 1.1, so the higher end of the scale. But in our example, our 82.5 kilo woman, or 13 stone, we're just gonna keep it nice and simple, and we're gonna times her body weight in kilos by 1. So she's gonna be taking in 82.5 grams of fat per day. Okay, so now we've figured out how much protein and how much fat we need to take in on a daily basis, but we've worked it out in grams. So what we need to do now is we need to transfer those grams and transfer them over into how many calories that equates to. So what I want you to do now is I want you to take your 165 grams of protein that you're taking on a daily basis. You're going to multiply that by 4. Now the reason I'm telling you to do this is because there's 4 calories in every 1 gram of protein. Okay, so once you've got that number, we're going to do exactly the same for fat. But fat is slightly different. Because fat has 9 calories per gram, we're going to multiply our 82.5 grams of fat times by 9. Okay, so now we've got our calories from protein and fats. So now we need to add in some carbohydrates. So what I want you to do now, I want you to add up the amount of calories you've got from your protein, the amount of calories you've got from your fats, and you add them together. That number that you get, you are going to take that away from your overall calories that you worked out earlier, okay? Now this is going to give you a number of probably roughly around 800, okay? Now because we know that carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, similar to protein, what you can do is you can now easily work out how many grams of carbs you can eat in a day without gaining weight, or while still losing weight even. So what you're going to do, you're going to take that number now and you're going to divide it by 4, and that is going to give you the amount of grams that you need to eat in terms of carbohydrate. Okay, so what you're going to do now, you're going to run with this for the first week. Okay, now what's more important than the calculation we've just worked out for our 13 stone or 82.5 kilo woman who trains 3 times a week is the effect that it has on her body at the end of the week, not the actual calculation we've just worked out. If your body responds well to this and you start seeing changes in your weight, you start seeing the scales go down, keep everything the same. Keep calories the same, there's no need to change it, you're doing a great job. If, however, you start to plateau and you don't see the scales drop or you don't see any weight loss, you're going to deduct a further 5% from everything. So carbs, proteins and fats and overall calories, take 5% off. Now, if for some reason that you gain weight, what I want you to do, you've got 2 choices. You can either deduct a further 10% from those overall calories, or you can add in some more exercise whilst keeping those calories the same. It's entirely up to you. You've got to remember that nutrition is just a starting point. This isn't the full nutrition plan I'm giving you. I'm just giving you a start point. And what's more important is to figure out how you respond to the calculations that you've just worked. Simple calculation is going to get you started. It's going to give you your baseline. So what I want you to do now is I want you to do your calculations, and once you've got your overall calories, carbs, proteins and fats, post them up in the comments below and tell me if you think it is more or less than you thought you'd be able to eat. And if you need any help with this, just hit me up and ask. I'm willing to help anybody out. All the best. See you later.